Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, Pickleball Nation. This is Scott Golden, joined in the booth with none other than Dave, the Badger Weinbach. Dave, good morning to you. How do you do? And we got some amazing matches, but let's talk real quick. You finished up with a gold yesterday afternoon, correct?
Dane Gingrich and I played in the senior men's, and we won the winner's bracket final to get into the gold medal match, which will be played tomorrow on Championship Sunday at 10 o'clock.
Absolutely.
So we went undefeated through the bracket. But let's talk about today, Scott, because we got an incredible day of pickleball going on here. We have, of course, the men's doubles pro events. We have the mixed doubles senior pro event. So the courts are going to be very busy. Melissa McCurley and her team have their hands full at pickleballtournaments.com. But, Scott, what do you think of this first round matchup here on Championship Court at the USTA Center in Orlando, Florida?
I honestly couldn't be more excited to see this matchup. You've got the young gun, Dylan Frazier, out on this court, on Championship Court. If you've been watching any pickleball over the last couple months, you've seen this kid emerge onto the scene with a big bang. But I'm not surprised. I saw you and Dylan win a gold medal in, I believe, Missouri. St. Louis, Missouri, about 4 years ago. And I remember thinking, this kid's going to be special.
Good memory, Scott.
Absolutely.
I met Dylan Frazier about 5 years ago when I was doing some clinics and some private lesson groups in the St. Louis area. And he and his mom, actually, and two other guys signed up for a private group lesson. And I was told before they came here, watch out for this young kid. He's going to be a star. And I pushed him really hard in this lesson. And I knew right there that we had a future star on our hands. And I've been fortunate to team up with him in a couple of 5-0 events, and we're 2-0. And I just love the kid. Comes from a wonderful family. His mom and dad are just high character, high quality people. And I had a nice conversation with him last week in person in his future in pickleball and how he's looking at it. And he's so mature, Scott. And today, teaming up with the Flying Frenchman, Jay DeVilliers, for the first time. And this was kind of a last-second put-together team. You know, usually, as you know, Jay plays with Patrick Smith because they both train and play in Wichita, Kansas. And we know what a great record they have together. So I'm really interested to see how that's going to work. I think it's going to be very successful.
I think so, too. And if you don't know who Dylan Frazier is, that should tell you everything you need to know about him. Partnering with the Flying Frenchman at this tournament, that's a huge step forward for Dylan Frazier, as the Flying Frenchman, Jay DeVilliers, is an absolute powerhouse on the court. Across the net, though, are two savvy veterans of our sport that have been around. As far as I can remember, I've been around 5 years. They have been in the sport since that point, playing pro, and have been just staples in our pro divisions. You've got none other than the unique and funny character on the court, Jeff Warnick.
Well, that's one way to put it, Scott.
And he's also a phenomenal player on top of that. And his partner is Joey Farias, right here out of just south of Orlando in the Port St. Lucie area. Jeff Warnick out of California. Dylan Frazier in that Missouri area. And then, of course, Jay DeVilliers that you touched on is in Wichita, Kansas.
And you and I were talking off the air about a half hour ago that when you and I saw this bracket, we thought this is by far the best first-round matchup. So it deserves to be on center court as we start this live stream of many, many hours today. Scott Golden, I hope you have a voice left at 7 p.m. when hopefully I'm on this court for the mixed senior final. But Joey and Jeff, let's talk about them for a little bit because they have a history of playing together. And to be honest, it's been very inconsistent results from them. They're capable, in my opinion, of beating any team, really. But they're also capable of going the other way quickly. So I think we're going to know in the first 4 to 5 minutes of this match how they are going to come out today. Because the one thing about Jay and Dylan is they don't give you a lot of unforced errors. They're not going to beat themselves. To beat them, you have to beat them. They're not going to give you any freebies. They're not going to miss serves. They're not going to miss returns. They're not going to hit dinks. They're not going to hit a lot of attackable balls to you. And they're great defenders. So I obviously will favor Dylan and Jay in this match. I think if they played 100 times, these guys would win more than Joey and Jeff. But as you know, it's pickleball, and anything can happen here.
I'm curious to see if they're going to target Joey Farias or Jeff Warnick from a dinking standpoint, if they're going to go after either one of them specifically or just move the ball around. And vice versa, are they going to target Dylan Frazier? And if they do target Dylan Frazier, how is Dylan going to respond in that scenario?
That's a very interesting point because we that have followed pickleball for a while know that Jeff Warnick's backhand might be the best in the game if you get the ball up high to him. His backhand dink is not very solid, and his forehand dink is questionable. So look for them to mix the ball around. I think they're going to be moving it to both Joey and Jeff. Joey's a little less dangerous, but Jeff makes more dinking errors.
So right out of the gate there, Dylan Frazier showing how sharp and how quick his hands actually are.
Yeah, you're not going to ever hit the ball through Dylan Frazier. He has some of the best hands you're going to see in the whole game, both on his forehand and his backhand.
So that right there, though, Dave, is interesting because Jeff just took that ball and slapped it about waist high. So and Dylan wasn't able to handle that. So I'm curious if he's going to look to attack from below the net like that.
Yeah, Warnick, a very aggressive player. I thought that ATP was there for Joey. He just took the wrong angle. When you make an ATP, what you're really aiming is not by the kitchen area. You're aiming for the back third corner.
I have a feeling with just the dynamic of these four players, we're going to see a lot of firefight exchanges too, a lot of speed ups early in the points. I just had that feeling.
What a beautiful morning to play pickleball. A little humid, but it hasn't warmed up yet. The high today is going to be about 86.
Which on court feels more like 96.
And there's an unforced error off the Farias forehand. And that's what we were talking about earlier. I just think you're going to get more unforced errors from the Warnick-Farias side of the court than you are from the DeVilliers-Dylan Frazier. And there's a one-y that DeVilliers often shows in his singles prowess, a shot that he has worked on tremendously in the last 6 to 9 months.
Well, the ball was on the left side of the court, and Jeff Warnick set up on the forehand in the middle, and that ball screamed past his left hip.
That was
Unbelievable
filthy.
shot. Filthy shot. That's what I think is going to be the deciding factor in this match. Can Dylan Frazier get acclimated to the unorthodox shots from Jeff Warnick? At any time, he can pull the trigger on that ball.
That's what I was talking about earlier. If you get the ball up to Warnick's backhand, he has the most dangerous backhand in the entire game. If you can get the ball down to his backhand and make him hit a dink,
You can neutralize
and really
that
lift
weapon.
the ball, that's where he makes his mistakes.
All right, so 0-3, an early lead here for the Flying Frenchman and Dylan Frazier. That's what they have to be careful of. Jeff can take 2 steps and be into that non-volley zone, and he's going to be attacking all the way in. He is not a shy defensive player.
Very aggressive player.
Very aggressive, and he knows he can put the ball at weird angles and off center angles. Now Dylan Frazier with a nice response to that last exchange. Pulling that backhand middle as Jeff went for an Ernie.
What you'll see in this match also is you'll see Farias and Warnick actually drive a lot of their third shots. Right on cue there, Farias.
Joey loves to drive that third, and he's good at it. So
And then Warnick will crash the tee. Oh, and that's going to just be wide. Actually, Jay was ahead of that ball, correctly anticipating that drive coming right at his backhand side.
I think we're going to continue to see a trend of balls being sped up early in these points. Again, they're testing Frazier early here to see how his hands are going to respond, and he is definitely responding.
3-2-1 here in the early stages of Game 1 at the PPA Orlando Cup. Ooh, that's a rare miss from Warnick on a high backhand. That's exactly the ball that he wants.
But I think that was just even a little higher with a little more pace than he even expected. Good shot from DeVilliers. Yeah, you can't do that. We talked about this yesterday on the broadcast. Jay DeVilliers, Tyler Loong, and Ben Johns, and also Deckel Barr, those 4 players you do not want to dink down the line too many times.
Never. There's no reason to give them the opportunity to do the Ernie. Just go down the middle over the lowest part of the net.
For
where you have
sure.
the most kitchen area to work with anyway.
Okay, so there it is again. We're seeing that ball being sped up early from Jeff Warnick. It's catching. Jeff goes at you, but he doesn't just go straight into your body. He goes left hip, right hip, up high, down low. He moves the ball so you never know exactly what he's going to do with it.
Look at the defense.
And then he
Oh,
turns it
my.
into some offense there.
And a huge come on by the Flying Frenchman.
He knew how big that was to win that. That's a deflating point to lose for Warnick and Farias. And there's another attack from the Flying Frenchman as he recognized that ball was coming straight over, and he did what we call a Burt, which is when you jump in front of your partner for an Ernie, but it's the reverse effect.
I really like what I'm seeing here with Jay and Dylan and how active they are. And they're talking, they're communicating, they're paddle touching. I mean, Scott, as you know, you've played a lot of tournament pickleball in your life. When you play with a new partner for the first time,
It can be very challenging.
it can be a challenge. So communication is really the key, and I love what I'm seeing. Oh, wow, that ball curled 3 feet.
But did you see? This is the level that Jay DeVilliers is playing at right now. He got out wide and then realized it was going to be even further than he could do. He slid one more step out there and rolled that ball to the back baseline. Unbelievable talent right there. And that shot is...
And after that incredible shot, we get a timeout from Farias and Warnick. And with that timeout, we will take our own break, brought to you by Jigsaw Health.
Cody, just got to use a little finesse, man.
Finesse?
Finesse.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back after that Jigsaw Health hydration break and a quick 60-second timeout from these pro players. We're going to get back to the action. Scott Golden, Dave Weinbach in the booth this morning, bringing you all this pro action on Championship Court. Looks like Jay DeVilliers is going to be serving after this timeout to Jeff Warnick. The body language from Warnick and Farias was not great after that last exchange. Warnick dumped one into the net. Shoulders sunk, head was down. I think it's a good timeout to hit the reset. Let's see if they come out with some a little energy here.
I think that's the ball they got to be careful of. You can't give Warnick an attackable backhand. His biggest weapon is his backhand attack, not his forehand attack like most players. His biggest weapon is his backhand attack.
So do you drop the ball to Farias on your third so that Warnick can't catch him out in front?
Because when Warnick's at the line leaning in, you literally have a foot to hit the ball where he can't attack it. So why take that risk? It's a high risk,
low return,
low reward type of shot. So I would drop it to Farias. He's a little less dangerous off that ball.
That's that low return. It's kind of low and skipping. That's the one you probably drop there. And Jeff knows it. He recognized he drove that ball too low.
Yeah, a lot of times, Scott, people tell me to drive the return of serve, the third shot, if it's short. But I don't agree with that. If it's short but very low, we don't drive it. Because if you do, you're going to hit the net a lot and disrespect the net, or you're going to hit it all long. So it has to be short and high enough. And the way I teach it is if it's tape high to the net, or higher, then you drive it.
And by tape, you mean the white net cord, right? For anybody that may not realize that word. So the tape is what he's referring to across the top of the net. Great breakdown there. I like how relaxed Frazier is when he's hitting his thirds. He's not panicking. He doesn't have what we call happy feet. He's stable, under control.
He's really learned to relax his grip pressure in his hands. When his first couple of years of playing, he would miss a lot of his thirds long or high, and they'd become attackable. So one of the things I worked on with him a lot is soft hands, lighter grip pressure on the third shot, so the ball doesn't rocket off your paddle. And then it comes down a lot quicker, too, when it loses its pace. And he's become phenomenal at it. I'd say he's now in the top 10 guys in terms of the third shot, both drive and drop.
Agreed. He's phenomenal here.
Really good dink rally here.
Jay got the shot he wanted. De Villiers was set up on that backhand. Ball came back from Farias, and he just dumped it. I think he was out too early in front of it. Joey with a big smile. He knows he dodged a bullet there.
Yeah, that's the ball Jay wanted. You're right. Jay actually prefers to attack off his backhand than his forehand.
Just like we saw right there. He could have slapped the forehand towards Joey. Instead, he slaps the backhand back the other way past Warnick.
I think he heard us.
He must have. So 2-10-2, even though the rallies have been good, the score is a little lopsided here in game one.
Well, that gets him to 3-10. Let's see if they can make a run here on the second serve. 3-10-2. So side out here, we have game point here in game one on Men's Pro Doubles Day here at the Orlando Cup at the beautiful USTA National Campus. We are just south of Orlando, Scott Golden, just south of the airport in an unbelievable facility. You and I were talking off the air just about the immensity of this place. 96 tennis courts.
It's unbelievable.
Just gorgeous here.
Friendly roll there for Frazier. That's the attack, but Jay knows that's coming. He can see that ball being rolled from Warnick.
But that's an example of a ball being way below the net that was very unattackable, that Warnick tried to attack an unattackable ball. And that's where we talk about decision-making in pickleball. You know, a lot of people talk about the physical skills and the shot-making, which is really important, obviously. But it's also the decision-making, the patience, the discipline. That's the kind of ball that Warnick should not be attacking. And with that break after game one, we'll take our own break. We'll be right back with you folks with the start of game two. Stick with us. Golden Weinbach, we'll be right back.
I love this game. The friends I've met along the way, the places it's taken me. This game is all about community. Duper is partnering up to grow the community, to bring accuracy, transparency, and adaptability to the sport. Duper's rating system starts off with accuracy, setting up for success right from the beginning. That's how you make every match count.
Selkirk's mission has always been to fuel the pickleball obsession found inside every player.
There is a growing community of pickleball players who consume as much pickleball content as they possibly can.
And that's why we are launching Selkirk TV, which brings the best pickleball content to your smartphone, tablet, and big screen TV. It's pickleball's original and only free TV app. This is 24/7 pickleball, proudly brought to you by Selkirk.
All right, guys, we're back after game one wrapped up 11-3. We're going to move on now to game two, and right out of the gate, Warnick driving that ball middle. They just split like the Red Seas, and that ball went out by 4 feet.
0-0-1. See, Warnick's making better decisions on those balls.
Oh, look at that. Now, that's the one thing. If you get that ball in his midsection, he's sitting right there on it. A lot of times he's going to make some of those phenomenal shots because he just sits right there in that middle area. No stacking from Frazier and de Villiers at this point. No need to.
Oh, wow. I mean, Farias hit a really good attack shot, but it got really high to the Frazier forehand, and it gave Dylan the angle to get the ball down at Farias' right foot.
And that just shows you how quick Frazier's hands are because he was able to recover on that. Because Farias is known to kind of sweep that ball from below the net and make it an uncomfortable shot.
He does it more on his backhand than he does it on his forehand in terms of trying to take that ball from below the net and flick it. Along with the Golden Boy Golden, this is Dave the Badger Weinbach, proud to bring you this live action here from the Professional Pickleball Association's Orlando Cup. Just another wonderful venue on the PPA Tour schedule. Players just loving this venue, Scott. Great amenities here. Nice air-conditioned locker rooms and bathrooms. It's just a beautiful facility. Can't wait to be back here in January.
Yes, they're doing another one here in January. This is kind of the warm-up, I would say, to letting people know that we're here and that this place, you've got to put this on your calendar to be here.
1-2-2 here in Game 2. Farias and Warnick looking to take Game 2 and force a deciding Game 3. This is just the first round, Scotty, in this men's pro doubles day. It's going to be an unbelievable day of action here at the PPA Orlando Cup.
Let me ask you, 3 years ago, would we have seen this matchup in the first round? Not likely,
A lot of these
right?
guys weren't playing 3 years ago.
Correct. It's unbelievable. Dylan Frazier was probably playing 4-5 or 5-0 back 3 years ago and wasn't even on the Pro Tour yet. And I just think that's the way the sport is transcending and progressing.
Yeah.
We're seeing these matchups where you can't just get an easy warm-up game in the first round.
And 3 years ago, de Villiers couldn't spell pickleball.
He might not have even known what pickleball was 3 years ago.
I remember Matt, Wright, and Lucy first telling me about Pat and Jay and saying that they have some training partners in Wichita. And I said, who? And that's how I first found out about him. And then I met him at the U.S. Open, played some rec games, and we knew early on that Pat and Jay had tremendous potential in this game. Jay, of course, on the singles side, very accomplished already, and in my opinion, getting better by the tournament.
So I'm noticing just a little trend from Game 1 to Game 2. Farias is winning some of these exchanges on the dinks cross-court with Jay, and for whatever reason, if maybe it's the way Farias dinks or it's got some action on it, there's been some unforced errors from de Villiers, so we'll keep an eye on that and see if that becomes something that Farias is going to go back to.
And there's that Warnick backhand attack again.
And
That's their weapon. That's the ball they really want to get. But Jay and Dylan have to be careful not to go at the Warnick backhand. And if you do, you better get the ball down or you will pay a steep price. I've played these guys a lot, Scotty.
Absolutely. He's dangerous when that ball is above the net. That one's unfortunate because he got the ball that he wanted, and it just clipped up. It hit the net and came up. And Dylan took full advantage of that opportunity to put it away. But watch out because Warnick's getting going now. So
Oh, terrific poach there by Farias after the really good Warnick drive down the middle. Farias running across, poaching with his backhand with a tremendous play there and taking a nice lead here in Game 2. And with that, Dylan and Jay calling a quick timeout. And with that, we'll take our own hydration break. It's fun to feel good. We'll be right back, folks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm.
all right, back to the action here. I've got Dave the Badger Weinbach to my right. We're watching some pro men's doubles firefights going on here. This is an absolute fun game to watch. The first game did not go as Farias and Warnick had hoped, but now they've bounced back, looking much cleaner and sharper in game 2 so far. Warnick a little upset with himself for driving that ball too low, but once he gets that drive going, though, it's pretty good.
It's very, very good, and that's their strategy is for him to drive that third and for Joey to crash middle.
That's good discipline to let those go. I think a lot of times that's one of the most underrated things that pros do is letting out balls go out and taking those free points.
It's really a skill to let out balls go out. It's really hard when you get in those firefights and that ball's coming at you fast. It's really a skill to let that ball go, and what a terrific inside-out backhand there by Farias. Seeing Dylan sit on his backhand grip, and he takes that inside out to his forehand, and Dylan just has no chance to catch up to that ball.
There's the what we call shake and bake, or the drive crash middle, what you referred to. They're both doing it, and when Jeff is the one crashing, it's dangerous because if that ball's left up at all, he will tee off.
Yep, and Farias has a great drive, so I think they should do that more. If I was coaching them, I'd have Farias take a lot of those thirds, drive it mostly in the middle, because if you drive it middle, it doesn't give your opponent a crazy angle to get the next shot away from Warnick.
Yes, and this is definitely their game plan. They have had a conversation between game 1 and game 2. I don't know if it was during those 2 minutes or during that 60-second timeout, but they are literally crashing every time and driving their third. So let's see if that trend continues here, which I think it will. Now, that was a recognition that the ball was too low to drive. He dropped that one.
And that's a mistake on de Villiers' part to dink it to the Warnick backhand.
Straight across.
Because if you dink it to Warnick's backhand, if the ball is just a half a ball too high,
Slapping.
Warnick can lean in there and is as good as anybody in the game at that shot right there.
Oh, he missed. Okay, so the risk reward from Warnick is that he's trying to hit body shots. He's going at your core, so if you're able to get out of the way of some of his, they will go long, but he's really aiming for that midsection. So here's that cross-court dink I was talking about. And then Warnick sitting in the middle wanting to catch one if it's left up a little.
And another example of Farias taking a ball with his backhand, 1.5 feet below the net, and driving it up into the Frazier forehand.
Yeah, he's luring Frazier to sleep, and then he's rolling that ball into him.
Terrific recognition there by Joey, seeing Dylan sitting too strong backhand. You know, not sure how you teach it, Scott, but when I teach, and people ask me what should be the ready position with the paddle, for a righty, I want him at 11 o'clock. Because if you're at 11 o'clock, you're going to be able to capture most shots with your backhand. But if you're at 11 o'clock, you can very quickly get to your forehand. If you sit 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock, like a lot of players do, it takes an eternity to get to your forehand side. And we just saw another example of that with Frazier. So if I was coaching Dylan right now, I'd tell him, instead of sitting so strong backhand over here at 9 o'clock, to get that paddle closer to 11. Now, for a lefty, I want them at 1 o'clock.
Now, I think here's what I'm seeing. There's been a shift in the game plan from Farias and Warnick, and it's been a little shocking, shell shock to de Villiers and Frazier. Now, though, they've got to respond. They've got to come up with a good game plan to counter the shake and bake, if you will.
I think I heard that referee say 8-3.
Yes, that's correct.
So 3-8-1 here in game 2. Joey and Jeff looking to take this game and force a deciding game 3. And we're seeing Warnick make most of his unforced errors, Scott, on his forehand side.
Yes, and that's what you'll see from him if there's going to be a mistake. It's on that forehand typically. He loves that backhand slap shot. He more slaps or punches the ball than he does roll it.
Well, Jay made the error there of trying to drop to the Warnick backhand. And if you do that, you have to get the ball down. And there's very little window to do it because, you know, Jeff's a tall, long-armed guy. And he really does a good job of leaning in at that kitchen line and puts a lot of pressure on you.
So right now Warnick and Farias are in an interesting spot. They're up 8-5, but they got to shut this run down because the second that the momentum swings back, it's gonna be tough. But that's a drive killer right there, as Farias slaps that backhand just inside the baseline past Frazier's backhand.
8-5-1. So Farias Warnick get the ball back at 8-5-1. And that's going to sail way long and wide, and that will get them to a Warnick second serve, trying to get to that very, very important 9 number. 8-5-2. I think that's a big, big number in pickleball.
They're liking Joey on the left, though, because they're stacking with Joey there. And that's honestly, that's his best shot, the one below the net.
Where he takes it up into the right side of the body, because Jay is also a backhand dominant player. So if Jay's sitting strong backhand, folks, attack the forehand side. That's the 4th time Farias in this game has done that.
And until De Villiers changes that up, he'll probably stay on that right side. Look at that. Look at that. They're looking to close this game 2 out. They've got all the momentum. They just have to execute here.
10-5-2. And that gets them to game point here in game 2.
What a change around from game 1 as they got beat 11-3.
Clip the net and sail wide, Scott.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Dave Weinbach, Scott Golden bringing you all this live action on Championship Court here at the PPA Orlando Cup. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back to the action in 2.
Go again, until you strike just right, until the ball sings, until the other guy blinks, until the court's clear, and the sun sets, until you see it in your sleep, and wake up swinging. Go again, till you can't miss, until you can't lose. Go again, and again.
Welcome back, guys. This is Scott Golden and Dave Weinbach here for the action of Game 3 about to kick off. It looks like Frazier and De Villiers are going to start with the ball. What does each team need to do quickly before they start to close out a Game 3 here?
I think if you're Dylan and Jay, you got to get back to what you were doing in Game 1, and that is hitting a lot of unattackable balls, not attacking the Warnick backhand. Warnick got way too many backhand attack balls in that game, and Farias was doing a phenomenal job of winning a lot of those hand battles. Interestingly enough, Scott, it's been the south side of the court today that's been winning a lot of games. Yesterday, the north side of this court was winning more games. So let's keep an eye on that as this day progresses, because you know, we're right on that line, and it almost looked like Jay's right foot. Did you see that? Was touching the line, but the ref
They had
is
2 refs
behind
there.
him.
It's hard. It's
That was
hard,
close.
but we did have a good view. It looked like he may have scraped that white line, but we're going to play on. Also, we need to keep an eye on the early attacks from Warnick and Farias, because they had success in Game 2, speeding it up, the shake and bake, if you will, aggressive play from them. So are they going to stay with that strategy? We'll see.
I think they absolutely will, because it worked for them in Game 2. That's really how one of the strategies that worked for them so well in that game. So I fully expect them to continue to drive those third shots and then the partner crash to that tee.
It's funny because we talk about this game being a live chessboard or a chess match, and Dave, at the pro level, it is the highest form of chess at the pro level in pickleball. So we're going to see, does each team come up with a game plan in this Game 3, and who can execute that game plan the best?
Really impressive what Joey and Jeff did there in game 2. Really took control early. I think it was 3-1 pretty fast, and really did a great job of closing that out and keeping the pressure on de Villiers and Frazier. Not sure why Jay is hitting the third shots at Warnick. If I was making a suggestion to them, I would drop the thirds to Farias because he has a little less reach, maybe a tad less dangerous.
I feel like it's because he's comfortable dropping cross court. That's what he likes to do. But with Warnick, he's got to make an adjustment there.
Terrific lob there.
That's really well played by Warnick. Warnick never backed up. He just held his ground right there.
I think Dylan made the wrong decision there by attacking the Warnick backhand.
Again,
I'm surprised they haven't recognized this, Scott.
If it was me, I'd be hitting every ball to his forehand. Look, he immediately calls a timeout. He's so frustrated. One thing about Warnick is he feeds on his own emotion. So if he's up high and he's feeding off his good energy, he's going to transfer that to his partner.
Almost all of the errors that Warnick's made in this match have been on the forehand side. So I think Jay and Dylan need to recognize that better and keep attacking the forehand side. And with this timeout, we'll take our own hydration break, brought to you by Jigsaw Health.
I used to drink a lot of sport drinks high in sugar. I used to get nauseous on court, and at one point I was like, there must be something out there that I can use differently or I can do differently. For the first time I tried the Electrolyte Supreme, I was able to last throughout the whole day. I did not feel nauseous or feel heavy, and I really liked the flavor. Then I looked at the ingredients on the list and it said no sugar, so that was very attractive for me. No more sugary sport drinks for me.
Make sure he's... All right, guys, we're back to the action after that quick 60 seconds. Boy, 60 seconds goes by quick for these guys.
It sure does. Oh, I thought Dylan could have attacked that ball out of the air, Scott.
And when he waited, Joey set up on that backhand, and he was literally swinging at that ball.
And it gives your opponent more time to get to the kitchen line.
100%.
So in that situation, folks, you really want to take that ball out of the air and take time away from your opponent. You don't want to give your opponent extra time. You want to take time away.
Did you see that, Dave? The ball, Warnick was trying to attack it. It went by him, and then Farias hit on him, and he was facing the ball, and he just turned and let the ball go right by. It's fantastic. The crowd loved it. Here's the cross-court dinks that I'm interested to see how these go in Game 3.
See, that's the target that Frazier and de Villiers need to do.
You touched on it early before the match started. That is their key to success right there, keeping that ball soft, low, unattackable. So Warnick is wanting to speed the ball up to his forehand.
Oh, really good attack shot there by Joey. He got that ball down to Jay.
I'm very impressed with Joey's poise this morning on championship court in the first round. He is looking very sharp. Warnick is looking visibly frustrated. He's got to take a big deep breath and relax. He looks a little tense right now.
Another attackable shot off his forehand side that his dink went about a foot too high to Jay's forehand.
They're recognizing what's going on. Look, they're going to try to get that ball over to his forehand at some point. Good movement here on the dinks. You cannot leave it up, though. See, that's the risk in dinking with Warnick. See, he's not the best dinker on the tour. He would even tell you that. But what he's looking for is that ball to be just a half inch above the net so he can do something with it, as we just saw.
That's the ball that Frazier has to attack out of the air.
And he knew better. He realized that one he let bounce, it got punished. There's the attack. They got to get back. I feel like what they had, the game plan in Game 2, was what they have to go back to, which is that aggressive drive and then collapsing on the non-volley zone. They had tremendous momentum created by that type of strategy. Now in game 3, they've gotten away from that, but I think it's in part because Frazier and de Villiers have kept the ball soft and unattackable. They know the game plan here.
He got away with that. That's not the place that Jay should be attacking. It shouldn't be at the body or to the backhand side of Warnick. It should be to the forehand side.
He did get lucky on that one, but he caught him off guard just a little.
He's got to be careful. That's where he should be going, but that ball, as you said, was a ball too high.
That's all he needs.
And that's all he needs.
When you're 6 foot, I'm going to give him 6'5". You know, 6'5" with a huge wingspan, that's all you need is a ball half an inch above the net.
5-1-2 here in the deciding game 3.
They're going to switch at 6, so this is a big point. And there it is. They're just, they look deflated right now. They don't look like their energy's there. They certainly won game 2 on the burst of energy that they got and the right game plan. Now, if you would agree right here, Dave, that Frazier and de Villiers in game 3 have made an adjustment, a counter move to that aggressive play from them in game 2. They've got to now, and by they, I mean Warnick and Ferris have to make another adjustment now. They've got to figure out a way to counter this move that Frazier and de Villiers have now created.
Let's give Frazier and de Villiers credit for really stepping up here after being very disappointed in that game 2 performance. They didn't play anywhere near the level that they came out in game 1. But they've really turned it around, and they've gotten back to what worked for them in that first game.
One of the things that I enjoy being able to commentate these pro matches is watching the push and then the push back. So you get a push, and then you see a pushback. And it's how these pros respond to that push that makes or breaks them in these
Isn't
pro
it
brackets.
incredible how strong the word momentum can be in pickleball? I've noticed it more in pickleball than I have in other sports that I've played my whole life. And
Agreed.
It's just amazing. I've seen, and you have seen many times, teams come back from 0-10. We saw it at the Franklin Invitational in Wichita a few years ago when, not to pick on these guys, but Wright and Yates were up 10-0 against Colin and Ben.
For $10,000.
For $10,000
on the line.
and ended up losing 12-10.
I don't know that Yates or Wright have ever gone back and watched that footage.
I'm sure
it
they
might have
haven't.
gotten deleted in the archives.
All right, we are back to live action at 6-1-2 in this deciding game 3. Players have switched sides. Ooh, I didn't think Dylan needed to hit that ball. I thought that ball was going to sail long, but it's hard to resist those high forehands.
It's a blessing and a curse to have fast hands.
Dave Weinbach, Scott Golden bringing you this live action here from the Orlando Cup at the incredible USTA, one of their national tennis centers.
There was some of the energy we needed. Joey drove a ball that Frazier dumped into the net, and Warnick got that injury kind of going in the right direction. But he's got to be the steady rock here. He's got to settle in and just get that ball, make sure it goes over the net.
Joey's got to get up there. Joey stopped moving.
Yeah, I don't think he meant to be that far back, but he's got to make that conscious effort to get up there.
There were 3 or 4 shots hit there, and he was kind of planted in that transition zone.
What a ball. That's the backhand. That's what he does. He even took that ball a half inch below the net and then rolled it into the right hip of de Villiers.
Not many guys have that shot that Warnick has. Ben can do it. Matt Wright can do it. But not many guys can take a ball way below the net on their backhand side and flick it like that.
And it's on you so fast. Joey just not ready for that one. It got on his upper chest really fast, and that ball sailing long.
7-2. Second serve.
They are not responding to the push as I thought they might. There's a lot of unforced errors right now.
Well, you called it a while back. You saw some negative energy coming on this side of the court with Jeff and Joey, and that's making them play worse, Scott.
As we just saw back-to-back unforced missed returns there, giving 2 free points away to their opponents. It's another one.
Another forehand, unforced error drive in the net by Farias and kind of shaking his head at himself. You know, he's his toughest critic. Joey is very hard on himself, and he knows he's capable of executing so much better than that. And
there it is. The game-winning shot. Guys, this is Scott Golden, Dave Weinbach. We're going to take a commercial break as the next round starts to warm up. I see Matt Wright out there and a couple other guys, Ben Johns. You may have heard of that guy before. But, yeah, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back to the live action after this.
On your six, ladies.
The world will get back on its feet. We'll help you stay on yours.
What's your secret? Oh, it's no secret. It's the expert help I got at Foot Solutions.
Make an appointment at footsolutions.com.
Electric feel is in my bones, in my bones, in my bones. Make me color, make me glow,
Tyson
make me
just
glow,
back
make me
at the
glow.
baseline.
Shine like diamonds, bright as gold, bright as gold, bright as gold. Let those good vibrations
That's a great point by Tyson jumping it.
I got that glow. I got that glow.
I host a show in the kitchen.
I share my workouts in the kitchen.
I roll one sleeve up in the kitchen.
I stream in the kitchen.
I can't cook, but I'm in this kitchen.
I gave my paddle away in the kitchen.
I help keep you fit in the kitchen.
We're all family in the kitchen.
Let's go!
All right, welcome back to the PPA Orange County Cup in San Clemente, California. Bringing you all the live action here at the beautiful Lifetime Fitness. PPA has signed a long-term contract with the Lifetime Fitnesses across the nation, so you're going to see us at a lot of these beautiful venues.
It was a great process working together with the team to put together the Orange County Cup.
We believe that this facility is going to be a pinnacle stop on the tour, not just because of the venue, but because of the fans and everybody else that is coming out and the energetic feel that they bring to the court. The players love it, the facility is great, the town is supportive. We love San Clemente.
Obviously for us, it was a new experience. It was our largest professional event ever in the state of California. and it was the largest event, professional event in Southern California as well. So
I mean, I think that's the coolest thing. Pickleball is young, right? People don't know who the best players are, what's happening in the world of pickleball. And until you see the pros play, it's a completely different game. And they hit the ball so fast at each other, so it's so fun to see that excitement. And when you watch pickleball, you want to play pickleball.
So as far as an outcome of an overall tournament, I would say this one's probably been the best one so far on the PPA Tour. One thing I love about us and our team is our motto is to just get a little bit bigger and a little bit better every single time. And as you could tell, the stands were packed, the matches were incredible. We had some of the best matches that we've seen so far on the PPA Tour. Annalie and Lee were fantastic all weekend. Simone and Lucy, they played lights out. I mean, we were just super blessed to have the best players in the world competing, and our team, we did a great job being able to create that platform for them to excel and also for the fans to be able to come and enjoy.
This game, Riley Newman has been just on fire.
As he just proved, you never give up on a point.
God, let me throw to that one, and then off the net goes to the ATP. Newman, oh my goodness, Riley
He
Newman!
just put his finger over his mouth and said, "Don't celebrate just yet, my friend." That is some gamesmanship from Riley Newman. That's why we love him, and that's why he's a proud favorite amongst all the PPA tournaments.
Let's go, Adam. How about the defense by the Jones brothers there? What an exchange! And then Jones
Anthony really doing a good job of mixing up her serve early on here, trying to throw Leah Jansen off.
Jansen keeping Annalie back on that baseline. Annalie finally able to approach the net, and how about that winner? Why? We got a clean point in favor of Leah Jansen now. So this one will go at least. Wins that firefight. Oh, how about the quick hands out of Ben Johns? Just in. So the side out, Kovalova and Jargine are able to hold. Oh my. There it is. The championship goes to the world's #1 ranked team. Lucy Kovalova and Simone Jargine.
The pickleball community is growing rapidly and evolving. Duper brings accuracy, transparency, and adaptability to the sport. Fair and competitive play is a better experience for everyone. This is our pickleball community, and now Duper will make every match count.
One thing I really noticed before I came on to Gearbox, other paddles change over time. They start to slowly deteriorate, and at about that 3 or 4 month mark, just kind of felt dead. And then I would switch to a new paddle, and it was kind of too fast, because then it had to degrade to get into that sweet spot again. I've been using the GX5 for just about a year now. Same paddle that I picked up the first time I hit it, haven't switched paddles, and it feels exactly the same a year later, and that's huge.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for tuning in here at the PPA Orlando Cup. My name is Scott Golden. I'm joined in the booth by none other than Dave the Badger Weinbach. Dave, thanks for joining me this morning. I know you're a busy man. You're playing, I think your bracket starts around, what, 11:30?
11:30 or so. I'm playing with, for the first time, with Eva Welcher. Really excited about that. It's senior mixed day today, and we're going to end up going all the way through our bracket today, Scott, and play the gold medal match tonight here on Championship Court. And referee Tom is just about ready to start this match here in a minute.
We've got Tom Whitson, that's correct, and we've got his co-referee on the other side. Dave, talk about that two-referee system. I like it.
I'm a big fan of it because, for me, Scott, the more eyes that are on these players and on their feet by the kitchen line, and with all these guys doing all these earnies now and all over the place, to me, the more eyes, the better. So I actually love that system. It's a system that our chief of officials, Don Stanley, came up with a year and a half ago, and I'm a huge fan of it. But, Scott, let's talk about this matchup. We have world number 1 and world number 2 playing together. That might be a tough combination to beat when you talk about Ben Johns and Matt Wright. We know what these guys bring to the table. But we got a very unique combination on the other side. Teaming up, I think, for the first time that I've seen, we all know Rob Cassidy, just a tremendous left-handed player, can do it all, has no weakness. But there's another guy he's playing with today that a lot of our viewers may not have ever seen, but I've played against him many times. His name is Michael Leonard, and he recently moved to Florida a couple years ago from up in the northeast part of the country.
Michigan.
And he does a lot of teaching, a lot of playing. We haven't seen him on the tournament circuit, I think, for about a year and a half to 2 years.
Yeah, COVID had a little something to do with that. He took some time off.
Yes.
But he is back on the scene, and it's no accident that they're here on Championship Court, is it?
He is a very, very, very good player. He's not well known, has never made it into a medal match at a major tournament. But I'm telling you, he's very dangerous, and he's a backhand dominant player, Scott. So if Matt and Ben don't approach this match correctly, if they try to attack Michael Leonard on his backhand side, he will hurt them. We just watched the guy with maybe the best backhand attack shot with Jeff Warnick. Michael Leonard is not top 1 or 2, but he's certainly top 10 on his backhand attacks, and his backhand dink is money.
Absolutely.
And Rob Cassidy, one of the most consistent players we have in the game, and one of the best counter punchers. So this is not going to be a slam dunk for Matt and Ben. They are going to have to play well and execute to win this match.
And I would be remiss if I didn't give a huge shout out to the 585 Rochester, New York, where he got his start in pickleball. There is a core group there that plays that helped get him going in the right direction on the move. Now he's really come into his own. I think Rob Cassidy is playing some of the best pickleball of his whole career. He's more focused, more dialed in than I've ever seen him. He's been finding himself in bigger and bigger games and doing really well and getting better and better partners. So this is going to be interesting, Dave.
What's so impressive along that line, Scott, is that Rob Cassidy plays with a lot of different partners. And he excels with a lot of different people. And that's a tribute to him, his competitiveness, his partnerships, his communication, his style. Rob and I are actually going to team up and play a tournament or two next year.
There you go. There's a good example right there.
I mean, I love his game. There's not really ways to attack Rob Cassidy. He's got a really good backhand. He's got a great forehand. He is an incredible counterpuncher. I actually think he's a better counterpuncher and prefers to be the counterpuncher versus the initiator.
Oh, no doubt about it. That will be evident as this game unfolds that he will stay in a dink until the cows come home. But when you speed the ball up first, and they will, he will be ready for that attack right
And
there.
Michael Leonard is also a great counterpuncher, especially on his backhand. So if Ben and Matt don't approach this match with the correct strategy of just being patient and breaking them down, they are going to have their hands full.
Let's see how it goes, Dave. And we're off to the races.
Michael Leonard is going to be a little bit visibly nervous in this match. He really has never played on the big stage, and he's never played, to my knowledge, against Ben Johns and Matt Wright.
They're going to go at him pretty early and test him. I do think he's going to be ready for the challenge. I just think he needs to settle in, get those nerves in check, like you said. And we're going to see his best, I'm sure, come out against the two top best in the world. And I wouldn't be surprised if this game was a little lopsided in game one, but I expect Cassidy and Leonard to settle in at some point.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. We're going to have some nerves here by Michael Leonard in the first half of this first game, but then I think he'll settle down and play a lot better. You know, he's playing against the two best players in the world. Rob Cassidy is not going to be intimidated at all. He will not be nervous. Rob is what I call a gamer, maybe the most competitive individual I have met on the pickleball circuit, and I mean that in a positive way.
Very intense.
I love it. I love the way he just competes. Even when he gets down, like I've seen him get down 9-1, 9-2, he's still pumping up his partner. He's still focused. He's still got that intense drive. And I love playing with people like that.
Absolutely. And Dave, to your credit, before the match started, you said if they go at him on his backhand, he will hurt them. That was back-to-back, one backhand, one forehand, but he's showing right there that when you speed the ball up at him, he will be ready.
Yeah.
Great reset there from Cassidy, but I thought that ball missed.
That ball was out.
I thought that ball missed.
That ball was out.
I don't know if they're gonna call it.
If they don't see it, Scott, they can't call it out. It happens so quickly.
You can always ask the referee, but the referee's not looking for the ball to be in or out there. He's looking at feet.
But a player must make a call before he can appeal to the referee. So they have to make a call first, then they can appeal to referee Tom. But they must make a call. In that situation, the ball bounced, and Michael and Rob weren't even looking at where it landed. So they cannot make that call. Oh, Michael hit a shot, but it just ticked the net, went up in the air, and it gave Ben Johns till 2022 to hit it.
And he hit it indeed. So I like the attacks from Leonard so far, though, early. He's starting to settle in just like we thought.
I think it's really good that Leonard and Cassidy have played a game already today. It's Ben and Matt's first match of the day because they obviously were the #1 seed coming in and had a bye. But I think it's good that Leonard has played a game and gotten a little bit of those nerves out of the way. Even though it wasn't on center court and it wasn't against the top players in the world, I think it's going to help him. Matt and Ben both want the middle. I always love watching these two play together because they're both aggressive players. And I mean, you and I have commented at so many of their matches over the years in mixed doubles and men. They're both type A personalities. They both want the ball. They want to control the point. So it's interesting when Ben moves Matt over, Matt will move over, but then he goes back to the middle to try to get the next shot.
Yeah, he sure does.
You know, in these early matches, look where Matt's standing.
Yeah.
Later in the day, you will not see Matt Wright standing in the middle. If they play like McGuffin and Newman, Ben Johns will be standing in the middle.
I love it.
So it's really cool. I mean, you and I know these guys so well. It's really fun to watch the dynamic.
It is, and it's subtle stuff, but also that was not subtle what Leonard just did. He did an Ernie for a winner off the attack, which was pretty fantastic there.
See, I don't think that Ben and Matt know what you and I know. I don't think they realize that Leonard is much stronger on his backhand side.
They're going to figure that out.
If they try to attack him on the backhand side, that is what's going to happen.
They'll figure that out because he's going to hurt them at some point. They'll say, okay, we got to stop doing that.
That one he missed wide, but I like how he's got this aggressive mode.
He's not he's definitely not afraid. He had a few nerves early. He needed to get in check, but he's going to do what he does best, which is attack off of balls in the air. So he's not going to shy away from doing that.
Oh, I thought that ball was a very attackable high forehand. You know, Scott, in this game, you have to attack the attackable balls. What I mean by that is if you're dinking and you get a ball that's above the net or even tape high to the net, you've got to hit an offensive shot. I'm not saying it has to be a winner, but it needs to be an offensive shot to set up the next kill shot.
Yeah.
And in that situation, Leonard passed on a very attackable high forehand.
And then ended up losing that point on a dink from number 1, Ben Johns. Okay, so what's been happening is Leonard goes cross court with Johns. Johns leaves the ball up just a little bit, and Leonard's been having a little success, but now Matt's sitting on it ready. So they've got to figure out another counter move to that because now they're going to be all over that.
Oh, great drop there by Ben. I mean, that was a great return by Cassidy. Hit the line, and Ben casually drops it in the kitchen. Nice cover there by Wright with Johns off the court. And that's going to sail long for another point for the Wright Johns team. Their first match of the day at 6-1-2 here in game 1. Good idea to throw in a lob once in a while there, but Leonard's lob sails long by 1.5 feet, and that's going to give a timeout here there by Cassidy. So with that timeout, we will take our own timeout as we are in the middle of game 1 here at the Professional Pickleball Association's Orlando Cup. This timeout brought to you by Jigsaw Health.
Thanks for calling Jigsaw Health. This is Ben. How can I help you? I'm sorry, she's not in today. I agree. She is an excellent pickleball player. I believe it's Jardim. No, I'm not sure how to pronounce it either. Yes, her picture is on the front of the bag. Okay, how many bags would you like to order? I'm not sure we have that many.
Welcome back, everybody. After that brief hydration break brought to you by Jigsaw Health and a 60-second timeout from these pro players, Rob Cassidy, Michael Leonard on the close side by us, Ben Johns, Matt Wright on the far side. The lead and in control, number 1 and number 2 player in the world, controlling the points.
7-1-2, and there's that backhand attack there by Leonard.
Well, if they leave it up, he's gonna attack that ball. There's no question about that. But again, you touched on it. This is Johns and Wright's first match because they had a bye in the first round. So it's going to take them maybe a game to get settled in, but they'll figure these things out.
Yeah, and Ben and Matt haven't really played together much this year. Ben playing mostly with his brother, Colin, but Matt telling me yesterday that he and Ben agreed to play this one over a year ago. And I think they're going to play a few more together, but going forward, it sounds from Ben's standpoint that he and Colin are pretty much going to team up exclusively next year. And Matt teaming up next year a lot with Riley Newman.
Well, I like that.
Some new news that we're going to break here on this live stream.
I like that.
Both players confirming with me that they are going to team up, and actually, had asked me how, my opinion how they would do together, and I said that's a no-brainer. I mean, they've had their share of a few differences, over the years on different stuff, and you know what? To their credit, they moved past that. They stepped up, and they realized that as a team, they have a very, very good chance to consistently win gold medals at the top tournaments in the world at the Professional Players Association in this tour. So I'm looking forward to watching that, Scotty.
Absolutely. See, I think what's going to end up happening as this game progresses is Matt was a little, caught off guard, I guess, if you will, that Michael was attacking so much. But Matt is a guy who's used to that, so he's going to make those adjustments. So Michael Leonard has to figure those things out too now.
You see how Matt is sitting on his backhand, though, on those attack shots? So Leonard, and he's tried this a couple of times today, I think when he attacks straight up to right, he needs to go a little bit more inside out and get the ball to Wright's forehand side of the body. We saw this the last match with Farias doing a great job of driving those backhand attacks up on the high forehand side, and he got like 4 or 5 good points on that. Let's see if Leonard can make that adjustment here, Scott.
Yeah, and I think we're just going to keep rolling on this one right now. Our 60 seconds is going to go by quick, so we'll just stay live here. And but yeah, Matt and Ben, they're over there. I'm just watching them. They're talking right now, and they seem to have good demeanor about it, and seem to be enjoying themselves over there on championship court.
I've talked to both of them about this grouping, and they enjoy each other's company. Matt, does most of the talking because it's Matt's personality. And
Matt's definitely a type A. I mean,
Matt,
he's an attorney.
yeah.
He likes to be in charge.
When people ask me who's been your favorite partners to play with, and of course I love playing with Kyle Yates. He and I have won the first couple of U.S. Opens, had a great time with him. But I just love Matt Wright. I love playing with Matt Wright. He brings a lot of energy.
Good sense of humor,
a lot
too.
of confidence, a good sense of humor. We're always laughing and smiling, and just love playing with him. And, of course, when he teams up with Ben, I mean, they're certainly beatable. We've seen it many times. But a heavy favorite going into a tournament when they're playing together.
Absolutely. See, that's the defensive counterpunching that Rob Cassidy brings to the table. When you speed it up at him first, he seems to always be ready for that punch.
Especially on his backhand side. He is one of the best counterpunchers we have in the game on his backhand side. Unfortunately, that third shot was about 4 feet too high, and that got them in a tough spot, but they recovered here. And see how Leonard got that ball more on the right side?
And almost going down. He almost hit down, and Matt jumped a little bit. But, yeah, he put that ball in a good spot.
See if Leonard realizes that on his attack shots.
Oh. Leonard, I saw Leonard right after he got hit. It came back so fast from right. He said, good shot. He knew.
That's going to sail way long. Good idea there. That's what I like to see the lob, is when your opponent is at that line and kind of leaning forward. That's when I like to throw that lob up after a dink or two. Not immediately, but after 1 or 2 or 3 dinks. And that's going to clip the tape and sail wide. Matt trying to attack the Cassidy body.
Leonard has made a few unforced errors here late in this first game. He's doing great, though. He's doing great. Like, I really feel like he just needs to settle and play his game and not worry so much about who's on the other side over there.
See, he's trying that inside out that we talked about, but he doesn't have a lot of margin over there, so he can't get too cute with it.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break. This is Dave Weinbach, Scott Golden in the booth, bringing you the live action. Dave's probably got this round, and then you're going to see him start his bracket at some point today. But I've enjoyed the time with him. We're going to take this commercial break and be back to the game too soon.
I absolutely love this paddle. For me, it really suits my game well. I have a power game. I play quick. I can dink well with it.
And I absolutely love the paddle. I mean, the amount of pop you can generate, it's just propelled my game, helps me drive the ball.
It really feels unlike any other paddle that I've ever played with, particularly the face. It's really something new, the carbon fiber surface. It really allows you to grip the ball.
Match point. It's all up to me.
Nothing can get in my way. And when they ask, what are you gonna do next? I'll say, I'm going.
We're going to Margaritaville!
You can go to Margaritaville too. Visit MargaritavilleResorts.com.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Scott Golden and Dave Weinbach bringing you all this live action on Championship Court at the PPA Orlando Cup. We're about to kick off Game 2. Game 1 went as we suspected. Michael Leonard coming out showing some of the things that he can do, but not fully showing everything yet. I think we're going to see if he opens up here in Game 2 and really lets loose, as he has nothing to lose here in Game 2.
Cassidy really playing well, very consistent, very little unforced errors. Oh, Ben.
Well, Ben, I actually thought Ben was going to attack the first one, and he didn't. He went back cross court, and I think that threw Cassidy off because Cassidy flinched a little bit on the first one, and then he brought it on the second one. So very good manipulation there from Johns.
Another unforced error there by Leonard. So a quick 2-0 lead, referee Tom says. And Matt Wright stepping in there with his backhand on the third shot.
So back-to-back unforced errors on the dinks from Leonard and Cassidy. It's going to bring it to a quick 3-0 start in Game 2. This could get ugly if they don't reel things in here. Wright looking for that little switch.
At this point, I think he's just having a good time and playing around. He would never, in a real competitive game, step in front of the Ben Johns forehand. They're laughing about it right now.
Yeah, I mean, he knew exactly what he was doing, though. That was no accident.
He's just trying to get some reps in early and get as many shots as he can.
Look at him throwing up a lob. They know that they... But you know what? I actually think that lob occasionally, just out of the blue, can be effective if you do it the right way. Not necessarily from the baseline right there. Oh, look at that.
Matt comes in with the backhand as Ben is in his backswing on his forehand overhead.
Matt Wright with a big grin on his face. Look,
Ben said he really didn't want that forehand overhead. He said, Matt, come over. Matt and Ben looking at us and just laughing.
Well, Ben was definitely going to tee off on that thing, but Matt snuck in there last second.
These guys having a good time on the court together and a little chuckle with us. And then, of course, Ben has to do the same thing right back at him.
Yeah, and you like to see the friendly banter even back and forth. I think they have good, we talked about good chemistry, and that's showing. When you're relaxed, right, Dave? When you're relaxed and you're confident, good things are going to happen.
It's amazing, Scott, when you get your partner to laugh or smile, it's amazing how that relaxes their overall body, and they can execute so much better. I always try to get my partners, even Dane Gingrich, who's as intense a competitor as anybody, I get him to laugh and smile once in a while on the court, even in a gold medal match, because
he's very intense.
When a human being laughs or even just smiles, there's an immediate relaxation in their body, and they can execute shots better. There's that counter punching we were talking about with Cassidy. But he's doing it against the #1 player in the world. You're not going to win a lot of those hand battles with Ben Johns.
He'll win more than most, but the percentages are still definitely not in his favor.
And a very quick 9-0-2 and a quick timeout there. So with that timeout, we'll take our own quick hydration break brought to you by Jigsaw Health.
Lucky socks. Lucky hat. Lucky clock.
Dude, did you really have to bring all that with you?
Lucy, pregame rituals are very important. I'm sure you have some too.
Well, I have the most important one right here.
Yeah, obviously. Almost forgot. My lucky hairbrush. Old, reliable.
All right, everybody, we're back after that quick hydration break and timeout. These pro players standing on the court, ready to do battle again. This is not the way Cassidy and Leonard wanted to start game 2, as they're already down a game. But when you're facing the number 1 and number 2 player in the world as a team, it's going to be difficult. Nothing's going to be easy, right, Dave?
Absolutely, and Matt and Ben just don't give you many chances. You know, there's no way to pick on them, Scott. People ask me all the time, what do you do against Ben Johns? And usually the answer is hit it to his partner. But when his partner's Matt Wright, and Matt Wright has no weaknesses,
it's very tough.
It's very intimidating.
He did say that he's not used to playing.
A timeout, another timeout at 10-0-2 here, and Ben and Matt look over at us and kind of laugh here.
Well, I'll think that we should just keep going on this and not take back-to-back commercial breaks here. Let's just keep rolling. But what I was saying is that Matt told us between game 1 and game 2 that, you know, it's interesting. He's not used to being on that right side because he's an alpha male. He's the guy who really enjoys being, I think, the facilitator of the group. But when you have Ben Johns as your partner, you've got to be willing to compromise.
Well, and Matt likes being on the left side of the court more specifically because then his forehand's in the middle, and he can cover a lot of ground, which is why he and Lucy Kovalova are such a great mixed doubles team. Is Lucy's so good at holding her ground on those 6-7 feet of the court, and then Matt takes anything down the middle, and that's what he's used to. So it's harder for him. He's not used to playing the right side of the court. Same thing with Ben. And there you have it.
Yeah, there it is. That's a wrap. Game 2 did not go as expected for Leonard and Cassidy, but you're playing Johns and Wright. It's going to be a tough uphill sled. Guys, we're going to take a break. This is Scott Golden, joined by the Badger, Dave Weinbach. He's going to be starting his bracket at some point today, so we may not have him all day long, but I do appreciate your time, Dave. It's always a pleasure to be on the commentary with you. You bring such great insight and analysis to all the pro players on the court, so thank you for that.
Frometh Pickleball is your new one-stop pickleball shop. The best selection of pickleball gear is in stock and ready to ship from our warehouse. Shop the top brands like Selkirk, Paddletech, Onyx, and Vulcan, as well as the new Fila Pickleball collection of footwear and apparel. Visit us online today at fromethpickleball.com, the official store of the Pro Pickleball Association, an exclusive shop for PPA merchandise.
having this tournament here in Colorado is absolutely awesome because it just increases the exposure for pickleball in the state of Colorado.
Again, a huge personal thank you to everybody here.
Yo, I'm telling you, Gates Tennis Center, beautiful facility. We got all the pros here. It's been non-stop battles on the courts, on center court, on all the other courts they got, man. Nothing but fun here in Denver at the PPA Championship.
I just say the community is pretty amazing. I've never been in a place where pickleball has really been like the center focus, and with 1,000 people or more here, all pickleball lovers, it's the first for me. It's awesome.
Oh man, it's so great being here, but having all the pros here that only have ever get to see on Facebook and YouTube, and actually having them here in person, getting to interact, getting to see their amazing games, it's fantastic. It's wonderful. PPA has to come back to Denver next year.
Yeah, watching the pros, getting to, be so close to them, like up close and viewing, it's just great playing to watch.
It's a phenomenal environment, phenomenal vibe. It's a great experience here at Gates Tennis Facility with the PPA.
Get their first PPA women's gold medal title and their first title against Simone Jarzinga and Lucy Kovalova.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is Scott Golden. We just wanted to give a quick live update to everybody watching. As you know, sometimes in real time we have to allow for games to finish up, and that's exactly what we're seeing at the moment. There are some matches that are about to begin, a couple that are about to finish up, and we will make a quick decision on the next round that's going to be on Championship Court. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Buckle up, go get you some popcorn and some drinks, and sit down back in front of the TV because we expect nothing but phenomenal games today on Championship Court. We'll see you back in about 5 to 7 minutes or so with our next round. Thanks so much.
having this.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Oh, man. Holy smoke. Travis finishes it off.
Next up, you're going to play the Waters tomorrow in the final. They're known for their distinctive banging style. What do you do against a team like that?
I mean, we have to be ready. Their game style works. I mean, they're in the finals for a reason.
Don't get no better than that, baby.
Welcome back to the PPA Orlando Cup. We are at the huge and beautiful tennis facility. It's the USTA Training Center. I've got my good friend and co-host Megan Hall here joining us on Championship Court. We've got a phenomenal match here with women's pro doubles kicking off. Megan, talk about the bracket and how these ladies got to this point.
It looks like Callie Smith and Corinne Carr had a bye in the first round. The Waters, believe it or not, had to play in the first round. However, their opponents withdrew from the tournament, so they go right into the second round with this really great matchup. I'm really looking forward to it.
So this is the first basically real game that both teams are playing. So
correct.
We may see a game one that's not as fluid and smooth, or we could see a great game because they do warm up before, but it's not quite the same as being on championship court in game one.
Well, I'm going to say this. They're not starting at 8 a.m. They have an 11 o'clock start time. They've had all morning to get a good warm-up in. So I think that we will see both of these teams firing away right off the bat, and we'll see some really good pickleball from start to finish.
Talk about the partnership with Corinne Carr and Callie Smith. This is, I believe, the first time that we've seen this matchup happen. It's two, in my opinion, two contrasting styles. Talk about that real quick.
Yeah, so obviously everyone at home knows Corinne Carr. She's an absolute backboard. She gets everything back. Not super aggressive. I know she's been working on that part of her game. And partnering with Callie Smith, obviously Callie has it all. She's aggressive. She's got good defense. She moves very well. So I actually really like this partnership, and I think they could potentially do well against the Waters if they play the Waters correctly. Anna Lee, for the past few months, has been absolutely on fire. She can't do anything wrong. She played unbelievable with Kyle Yates in mixed doubles yesterday. I think the key to Callie Smith and Corinne Carr today against the Waters is keeping the ball away from Anna Lee Waters.
Yeah, and Lee, in my opinion, is going to be the X factor. We don't know how she's going to come out and respond to the team across the net yet. She can be a little streaky when she's hot. She's really hot and they're on fire. And sometimes she can cool off and she can make some unforced errors that can create a gap in the score, and then they sometimes unravel. So we're going to see which Team Waters we get. And I got a nickname for the team on the other side, Team Fire and Ice.
Sounds good.
You heard that here first. Well, that's not what I expected right there. Right out of the gate, we've seen some fireworks. If I didn't know better, I think it was 4th of July for this game right here. We're going to see that often across the net from each other.
I really like the movement there on the dings. All four players really moved that ball around. Lee, I think, still settling in a little bit, hitting a couple of those forehands long.
Yeah, she's trying to go for those body shots on Corinne Carr, and Corinne's having none of it. Let two of them go out. That's what we're going to have to see, how Corinne Carr responds to those attacks high at the body. Is she going to attack them? Is she going to block and reset? There's the fire from Callie Smith early. She's going to dial that drive in. Once it gets going, it's really hard to stop her. Again, there's two back-to-back where they've driven the ball at Corinne Carr, and she has dumped those into the top of the net cord. That's a great shot from Corinne Carr.
I mean, it's that topspin that she put on it that really sent the ball right over.
And you may say, well, that's a lucky shot. Well, it is in a sense, but really they work on these shots, keeping them close to the net like that. So that's another one from Lee Waters that skipped the net. The other two just went out, that one clipping and going long, so she's got to reel those in a little bit. Again, that's the third one early in this game where she has not responded too well to those attacks at her body. Of course, a big smile on her face still.
It's a great shot by Callie Smith, right at the feet of Anna Lee Waters. I think the Waters have a really good game plan. They're driving at Corinne Carr. That's really the bottom line right now. No timeout, almost a timeout, but no timeout. So play continues. Lee Waters is a little upset. She's hit many balls deep and saying there's no wind. What's going on? There's another one right there.
Again.
And I think if Callie Smith and Corinne Carr are going to be successful in this game, they need to just keep on Lee Waters.
Well, also it's maybe hard to tell on the video, but there might be a little bit of wind from the backs of Lee and Annalie. And I think that ball is somewhat catching that wind sail and going out, but that's no excuse. Lee Waters has still got to reel those in and make sure they go inside the baseline when she's hitting them. I feel like we're going to see that exchange back and forth between Lee and Corinne Carr over and over and over in these games.
If I were Corinne Carr, I would make the Waters dink as much as possible.
Do you hear that? Lee said to her daughter, that's it, let's push it. So she's saying, let's keep that pressure on Corinne Carr and Callie Smith. But let's not kid ourselves. They're going to attack Corinne Carr because she's more of a defensive-minded player, just hitting resets. Callie's going to tee off on the ball. Like that.
I like that Callie took a step in and involving herself because really they've isolated her quite a bit.
But the response from Annalie Waters lets us know exactly where she stands with that. She is inviting those attacks from Callie Smith. Notice how Lee Waters is pushing Corinne Carr off that line with her aggressive dinks, and then when she gets the ball up, she's attacking at the feet.
I'd like to see Corinne hang in that battle because she does have such good hands.
That's easier said than done against the Waters. They make you uncomfortable up there. That's not going to get it done right there. They wanted to reset that ball a little softer. I think it just got caught up there and
the first
got lifted.
volley that Callie Smith hit right up there at the kitchen line, she didn't back off because she knew the Waters was going to drive it. She stood in there on her toes ready, and she hit a really nice volley. But kudos to the Waters. There we go. That's exactly what we want to see for Corinne Carr. Hang in there tight and just be ready for that volley.
Yeah, the Waters make no bones about it. They are going to bring it fast and furious at you, and Corinne Carr has got to respond just like that. That ball sailing long. 5-4-2. Game still tight here in game one.
Right now, the Waters are smooth sailing. They are the team with the momentum, with the game plan, and who are dictating each and every point so far.
Very true, but I still like the gritty play from Corinne Carr and Callie Smith at this point, keeping this game close.
Absolutely, I agree.
And I think you touched on this a few minutes ago. I don't think that Lee Waters would be smart to go cross court with Callie Smith thinking over and over. She's going to look to get that ball moved over to Corinne Carr and speed it up. I love the communication between the Waters. It's short, it's sweet, it's brief, but they get on the same page between every point.
Nice setup by Callie Smith and nice finish by Corinne Carr. Yeah, that's the thing about the Waters. Whenever you leave any ball up high to the forehand or backhand, you know what they're doing
They
with it.
can both put it away. So a nice little run there from Carr and Smith.
I love Annalie looking to be aggressive there. She's a little disappointed it didn't go her way, but it definitely was the right choice.
All right, it makes them respect that. They can't just leave a ball high without that poaching.
Oh, that's a great serve.
And we saw that a couple times yesterday with her serve. She was able to really get a lot of kick on that ball. That ball did not miss by a whole lot.
That took a lot of discipline for Corinne to listen to Callie calling her off on that ball.
I would have hit that ball 100%. It looked like it was going to dip in.
That's a great dig by Callie Smith. It is a bit breezier here today than yesterday, Scott.
Just a little bit.
Beautiful shot right down the middle.
All right, 7-6-2, so another lead change here for Smith and Carr. We wondered before the game started, would Corinne Carr rise to the occasion and be ready for those attacks? So far, she has risen to that. She is ready for them to attack, and right there she showed what she can do with the ball.
It looks like she made a slight adjustment mid-game and is ready for these attacking balls.
Oh.
And attacking herself.
Good defense. But did you hear the communication? No, no, no. Right away, she let her partner know, don't hit that ball, it's going out. Callie said me.
I mean, unfortunate hit of the tape, but does Corinne Carr really want to be driving the ball in the middle to Annalie's backhand?
Well, but it actually started with Callie Smith. She came over, slid over, and then attacked first, and she started that firefight. So I heard her say, my bad, after that. That she didn't have the ability to drop that as soft as she wanted. Bringing the Waters back up.
Oh, that's a shame. Callie Smith played such a good point, as did Corinne Carr. You know, just missing that.
She was
that
just a
put
little
away.
behind it. Yeah, she wanted it. She knew it was coming.
What you're going to see in this match is that the Waters, they play together all the time. They know each other's game, style, when to move, when not to move.
Score is 8-8-2.
Callie Smith maybe going for a little too much on that.
Well, what happened was Annalie took a big step to the middle, and she tried to change that dink from her middle shot back behind her. And oftentimes, if you switch at the last second, there is the nature is to miss that shot. Okay, guys, we're going to take a quick hydration break brought to you by Jigsaw Health. Megan Hall joining the booth with Scott Golden. We'll be back to the action in just a minute.
Oh, gosh. So close.
Out. That's clearly out. Out.
Not even close.
Custom jobber right here. It's triple carbon polyfiber honeycomb tri-blend faceplate. Oh, and it's got Bluetooth. No. Look, here's what you're doing wrong.
Man, I love this sport.
Welcome back, Pickleball Nation. This is Scott Golden and Megan Hall bringing you this live action on Championship Court. We've got Julie Scott and her head ref getting us kicked back off after that 60-second timeout and that hydration break from Jigsaw Health. I am interested to see how the rest of this game unfolds. Let's watch as it happens now. 9-8-2. Callie looking to get involved. You can see she's coming over there.
Wow, that's a great point.
So Corinne Carr, they had some type of discussion. Callie's told her, I'm going to come over and take a little more in the middle. Set up on your forehand. Just set up there. I'll cover your left side. It seems to be working. At least it did on that point. 8-9-1. Yeah, you see that? Look where. Okay, so the only issue with that is if Callie decides to come over and take more in the middle, she's got to make sure not to get burned from behind like that. We saw that happen with Callie Smith and Tyson McGuffin yesterday. Tyson kept coming too far over to that middle and was getting the ball was getting hit behind him too much.
Did you see Callie almost showing that she was going to poach on a few points ago?
9-9-2.
So we'll see how often we see that from her in the rest of this match.
So the Waters are recognizing that the game plan is for Callie to come over and get more middle forehands. They're hitting the returns and everything far over to the left side behind Callie to her backhand. There's the attack. She had it. Listen, Callie Smith got exactly what Callie Smith wanted. Callie Smith just didn't execute. That doesn't mean that it was the wrong strategy or game plan. She is trying to make a conscious effort in game two, at the end of this game one, to insert herself into the points. I think it's 9-9-1.
Ten, 9-2.
10-9-2. And there it is, game one in the books. Megan, did that game go like you thought it would go?
I think it was very close. I think that, yeah, it was a great game. I think Callie, we know the Waters are just
their game plan.
Yes,
we know
they drive, they drive, and drive. Callie Smith and Corinne Carr, I think, need to do a better job of keeping the Waters back, not bringing them in. Callie Smith tried a drop shot. It was too deep. It just brought them in. You do not want the Waters up at the kitchen line because that's where they do the most damage.
Absolutely. Guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Megan Hall, Scott Golden bringing you game two in just about 2 minutes from now.
Greatness doesn't just come from anywhere. It's built over time, match to match. Duper is counting every match. It's measuring the moments and building greatness within the entire pickleball community. Working in conjunction with amateur and pro players will make Duper the go-to pickleball rating system. From rec play to tournaments, it's time to make every match count.
Welcome back to Championship Court here at the Orlando Cup. I'm joined by the redhead Megan Hall, Scott Golden here as well, and we're going to see Game 2 kicked off here in just a second. What are the keys to success for Callie Smith and Corinne Carr to capture Game 2 and push us to a Game 3?
I think that we need to see them be patient but aggressive. I want them to really make the waters work and dink. I want to see Corinne Carr really stay in that kitchen, stay in the pocket, and use the great hands that she has, and put pressure on the waters.
Do you like the game plan of Callie Smith creeping over to that middle and trying to get more assertive and involved in these points? Or does she trust